Abhishek, stay with us. We're also getting a reaction from GVL Narasimha Rao. Now, let's also tell our viewers what GVL Narasimha Rao has said on Twitter. He asks the Congress party, and he's also been absolutely fierce in his approach. He's asked the Congress party, and I quote, do you ever see Congress leaders attack Pak for killing our soldiers? No, they dine with Pakistan, rejoice Hafiz Saeed's release, show fake concern for forces but abuse them. This is what GVL Narasimha Rao has come out and said on Twitter in his latest attack on the Congress party. We also have some more reactions coming in. Take a listen.
Jammu Kashmir issue is concerned, today it's an irony that Mr. P. Chidambaram and Kapil Sibal are raising questions. The Congress party has to be reminded that the problem of Jammu and Kashmir is a misgiving of the first Prime Minister of India, Mr. Jawaharlal Nehru's misadventures. Secondly, and most importantly, Mr. Sibal and Mr. Chidambaram, they talk of rhetorics. I want to ask the Congress party as to what are these statements when the Congress party calls the army chief as Sadak ke Gunde, and when we have a successful surgical strike across the border and the world applauds it as an attack on terrorism. We have the Congress party continuously coming out and saying that this is nothing but dramatic and wants proof on surgical strike. This shows, in fact, that the Congress party has been consistently giving oxygen to Pakistan and the ones in Pakistan who have been questioning the surgical strike. Today, in fact, under Mr. Modi's rule, we have seen as to how there is a consistent attack against terrorism. A dialogue is formed against terrorism globally. We have seen Pakistan being, in fact, snubbed by US recently, and we have seen as to how more than 200 terrorists have been killed in Jammu and Kashmir. This is action. While what we are seeing from Mr. Chidambaram and Kapil Sibal's party is nothing but rhetoric. And I would also like to remind Mr. Chidambaram of his statement that Azadi and autonomy are one and same, and as to how he stood with the Azadi League.
Mr. Chidambaram is a former Home Minister of this country. He knows the problem, and he knows what efforts were made by previous governments, what is being done by the present government. It is not only Mr. Chidambaram. Even we have been saying the government policy, the present government's policy towards Kashmir has not been successful, despite many claims made by Mr. Rajnath Singh, the Home Minister, and the Prime Minister, Mr. Modi. They have appointed an interlocutor. But what is the mandate he has got? Nobody is clear about that. Kashmir is a political problem which needs a political solution, for which there should be a political process. And we have been emphasizing that government, not only the central government but also the state government, both should engage all stakeholders in a meaningful dialogue to find a solution.
Right, so that's the big political story that we are tracking this Sunday morning. P. Chidambaram and Kapil Sibal coming out and questioning the government's Kashmir policy. P. Chidambaram there openly batting for talks with all stakeholders. Obviously, here he means the Hurriyat. We have GVL Narasimha Rao joining us on the phone line. Mr. GVL Narasimha Rao, you've been absolutely fierce in your counter to the Congress and Mr. P. Chidambaram. He's come out and he's come out and he says that, you know, the presence of the army should be reduced in the valley, and he's also come out and said talks should be held with all stakeholders. What's your counter to him?
No, Mr. Chidambaram has not only put a series of tweets, he's also penned an article published in the Indian Express today. It seems the article has been drafted by the ISI of Pakistan, and they published it in the name of Mr. Chidambaram. Because all the arguments that Mr. Chidambaram puts forth here, they are actually straightaway a lift from Pakistan's foreign policy or Pakistan's Ministry of Foreign Affairs. He says no talks were presented as if it were a policy. It is Pakistan which has been trying to push India to get into a talks, while we have adopted a very strong and stern approach that talks and terror cannot go together. Mr. Chidambaram, a Congress leader, wants talks to be talks to go ahead, irrespective of Pakistani perfidy. So this itself is advancing Pakistan's and ISI's agenda here. The second point, that I'm reading out critical points from his notes, and they appear to be a direct dictation from the Pakistan's ISI.
Right.
The second point he makes is no purpose will be served by pretending that there is no issue or there is no dispute between India and Pakistan. It has been consistent stand of the government of India, both under the BJP and even in the earlier regimes. While we would like to have a dialogue with them, entire Jammu and Kashmir is an integral part of India. And this is also a parliamentary resolution that was passed when the Congress was in power, when Mr. Narasimha was the Prime Minister and Chidambaram was a minister in that government. So what is he trying to, how is he trying to distance his own party? Has Congress party given up on this issue? We consider entire Jammu and Kashmir to be a part of India. Therefore, Rahul Gandhi and Congress party must clarify whether they stand by the ISI line given by Mr. Chidambaram in his article. The third point he talks about is issue is long pending dispute concerning the accession of Kashmir. I think this is, I can't believe my eyes when I read this. The accession of Jammu and Kashmir is an irrevocable. There is absolutely no discussion on this. What we are discussing is about the Pakistan occupied Kashmir.
GVL,
and by writing this line, Mr. Chidambaram is really taking an anti-India line.